just finished high school. I graduated from high school and didn't have any idea where I was going or what I was going to do, but it was a lot better than school. Yeah, well, I didn't join. So what happened was I was drafted, but a lot of people were taking off and going to Canada and Europe and just kind of getting out of Dodge, but I remember getting off the bus at Fort Lewis, my first night there, pitch black, and they have you run down these steps into this basement, and they said they're going to pass out their bedding and stuff, and I came running around the corner, and he was just tagging people with a pillow in the dark, and he about took my head off, and I wanted to really seek some revenge, but yeah, and that's basically my welcome. For me, I was nervous that I wasn't going to retain all the information that they were giving me. It all seemed fairly important, but it's stuff I'd never really thought about before. Night vision or
Interesting, you had night vision then.
huh?
I didn't
No,
even
no,
know.
no. We just have actually. This is a real barbaric. You have to close one eye, and so if there was any bright light, you'd always have a good eye. No, we didn't have infrared. Maybe every 2 or 3 hours they wake you up and make you run up the, maybe 4 or 5 miles. They come back, let you go, put your head down, and they do it again. Everyone was just left home for the first time probably in their lives. Their moms would send them cookies and bake all this good stuff. And this meal clerk wasn't passing it all out. He was keeping it. I think 2 days before graduation, there was a ledge on the second story, and they went across the ledge from my window into his, and we were taking stuff out of this locker. He had the thing full of cookies and cake, and so we kind of messed up his room and maybe a stereo system. And, I don't want to get into too much detail, but so I landed at Cameron Bay, and it's like Hawaii or something. Because I really had thought I was going to be jumping off a plane and really, mixing it up or something. I had no idea. I was a military policeman by now, a Hawk missile base in Chulai. They sent me out there to be security and a policeman for the camp. Usually had a .50 caliber on the Jeep, machine gun, hand grenades. Yeah, we used to do silly things. I would do things sometimes I shouldn't do. I would get like a piece of rope, and I'd tie my boot onto it, and it'd be dark, and I'd throw it off when we're sleeping, and I'd kind of drag it around and stuff, and it would scare people pretty good. Well, usually when I drove back at night in the Jeep, there was a road and a rice paddy, and then there was a divider. Yeah, like Tulies, maybe about 200 yards off, and so I'd get a real good head of steam in the old Jeep, because they'd always be out there and they'd take little pot shots at you when you're coming back. It's just this one little section, but it was like, fortunately the guy was a bad shot, or they were bad shots. It was nighttime, and all of a sudden World War III happened. It was just like machine guns. It was just lighting up the sky, and then I could see all the tracers, just like maybe a mile thick of just super war. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm here, I'm safe, and I'm watching the most outrageous battle I've ever seen. And oh, it's just incredible. The tracers and the explosions, and the guy Casey Thickman I was telling you about, my good friend, he was a corpsman in the Navy, but he got attached to the Marines. And he was in Vietnam, and I was in Vietnam, but I didn't have a clue where he was. Casey was shot while I was watching it, and it's like, whoa. But he was okay. You know, he lived through it. But oh, you don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's not like you hang around. You have a victory party or something. You know, we'd have to drive a ways to get to the company, and they were the only soldiers on the island. I think it was one of the first times I went there. Oh, all of a sudden these kids came out of the side as the kind of like the jungle, you know. And I said, oh wow, cool, you know. Next thing I know, they're jumping on the back of the Jeep and getting behind me, and all of a sudden my steel pot's being pulled back, and one kid's reaching down for my grenades, you know, and so I literally had to kind of fight him off and get him off the Jeep. That box of grenades was a curse to me, and I wasn't supposed to take that box of grenades. And so, but the Army, we could take whatever we wanted out of the armory. Ran out, no one was looking, and I went and I didn't bury him, but I just put him out in the bush, and I kind of covered him up. Bulldozer, the big grader's coming, running right for it, and I had to run, get in front of this guy, grab that box, and it was just like, that box is just a bad news, you know, the kids, I almost blew up some poor ladies, and then I almost blew up an innocent guy. That was it with the hand grenades. Can I get arrested for this? You know, no one was ever close like Casey was. You know, nothing like that. I mean, I was, you know, there was good camaraderie and stuff, but it was just, I had a, yeah. It only went so far. I think I could tell you probably what changed my mind about friendships, if you want. At a bunker at the perimeter, and there was two of us, and we got hit. An RPG round was shot, and it came up short, but it blew up right in front of us, and my partner ended up on the ground shaking and freaking out, and I said, get up, man, you gotta help. But he couldn't. I started thinking like, wow, I don't even know these guys, you know what I mean? I thought he was solid. When you leave, they want to give you a re-enlist, re-up, and so I remember I hit a little comm box that just, and he says, oh yeah, Pryor's here, yeah. He says, well, does he want to talk to me? I go, no. He says, well, I don't want to talk to him either. I wouldn't volunteer to do it again. Never. And then I remember coming home, flying into San Francisco, and Mom and Dad were hit me up. They could have been people I didn't even know. I couldn't relate to them at all. It was really a weird, strange feeling. And I remember sitting in the car, and I was in the back seat looking at them, going, wow, I'm afraid to see anything, you know, because I was so changed. But it was real strange, because I was pretty tight with them. And then, but I, at that moment, it was like, whoa. I didn't want to be there almost. And I don't know what that is. But it was definitely a heavy feeling. But I got over it. Suck it up, you know. I remember one interesting thing that really changed me, I started to get a little bit hardcore. I was driving out in the village, and I happened to see this father. He's picking up this child, and he holds him up, and it was just like, oh my God, he's a human being. He's a father. And I was like, whoa, because I'd gotten so PO'd or whatever. But it changed my whole feelings towards everyone again. I got a little softer.